Joining us tonight for another interesting topic as we dive into relationships and love and family. Thank you. Come on in, take a seat, take a number. As always, well, let me tell you what the topic is tonight. Tonight's topic: how to save your relationship from social media. This is a video that is going to resonate through the test of time because social media is real big and relationships is ruined a lot by social media, and a lot of people that do not know what to do about it. So we're going to lay the blueprint down for you all tonight in this video. So if you feel the need to, please like, share, and subscribe our video, and also share it to someone that needs to hear this message or maybe going through something such as this. Also, too, this is a live call-in show, so please feel free to leave comments, questions. You can join us live on the air and also through video or a voice chat. So, welcome.
Yeah. So this was inspired by another great question that we received. I'm going to go ahead and pull this on up so we can dive right on in.
Yep.
Help set the tone for what we're talking about. So, subject: I feel like TikTok is ruining my relationship. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. I think we're on track to being married, except when I get on TikTok and I see so many other couples doing things that me and my boyfriend haven't done. We haven't taken trips, he doesn't give me gifts, and he hasn't proposed to me yet. Worst of all, I get insecure when I see all the kinds of girls he follows, which, by the way, look nothing like me. I don't know if I'm being irrational or I actually should be worried we aren't hitting any milestones yet. I just feel like something is missing. What could I do?
I like this question because she kept it very short, sweet, to the point. They've been married for 3 years.
Dating.
Dating.
Yeah.
Sorry, dating for 3 years, and she's ready to get married. Don't worry about what these other people are doing. First of all, milestones. You need to worry about first getting married. That's the first thing, and then you want to talk about social media and what to do. We're going to talk about that tonight and give you the blueprint on what you need to do as far as your relationship goes. That's one thing I love about what we do. Other than other people that you will see on YouTube, we actually give you answers as opposed to just blame and beat people down. So, if I don't know many other couple shows that does this, but we here at Blueprint Family Jewels are the couple. We are the couple that are giving you insight and also resolutions to your problems.
Yeah, and this is a new age problem though, because
Right.
it's a lot different than past relationships, because they didn't have social media being as big as it is now. But in particular, the quote that came to my mind was from Theodore Roosevelt, and he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And boy, oh boy, is that certainly, now more prevalent than ever, because when we look on social media, it's easily accessible to see all these different relationships, all these different things going on. And when we compare ourselves to others, ultimately, we're going to rob ourselves of our own happiness, because, you're just comparing your relationship to other people's relationships, and it's not necessarily the same thing, but
Well said.
we can dig on into this in particular because she does mention one part that really stood out to me was the whole aspect of being insecure when she sees the kind of girls that he follows, and that's not necessarily a problem if a man is liking and following other women on social media.
Here's the thing. I wanted to throw this in there. If she went that far to see who he likes and shares, I'm assuming that she had took his phone or something.
Or they can follow each other, because if you
Okay.
follow each other, but yeah,
All right.
I don't necessarily know for sure as far as like TikTok or whatever.
I don't know either.
We don't really have TikTok, but I'm assuming some other social medias like Instagram in particular, I don't know if they even still have that where you can see what your spouse is doing or what anybody else is doing. I don't know. Social media people chime in and let us know, because that is, again, where I'm a little outdated, because we aren't as active on social media besides doing this, to be honest. But in general, it is perfectly natural for a person to be curious or maybe even attracted to people or things that they see on social media, even if they're in a relationship. That's not necessarily a signal of a problem. However, if the man is like constantly, and this applies for women as well too. So if your spouse though is like constantly liking and following other the opposite gender on social media, it could be a sign that, you know, maybe they're not completely happy in the relationship. If it's like a constant thing, you know, like they're always just looking at other women or looking at other men on social media, then it could be a signal that, hey, maybe, you know, something is up in your own relationship where they're not happy or whatever. Or it could be that the person is not ready to completely settle down. Because I think about, you know, if you're
It
serious.
it could be, but I'm gonna challenge this a little bit and
Okay.
say that when you're on social media, there's either there's either men or women up there. I'm gonna
Right.
just say that.
Right.
And you're watching what you watch and you like what you like.
Yeah.
And so therefore it is natural for a man to like women and it's natural for a woman to like men.
Yeah.
It becomes a problem if these people are reaching out to these
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Now, if you catch these people if you catch your spouse doing these things, DMing another man, another woman, then yes, now you have a problem. Now,
Yeah.
if your spouse is overly obsessed and always on their
Yeah.
phone, then yes, you have a problem. You can't get their attention for nothing.
Right.
Yes, you have a problem.
Yeah, and that's more so what I was alluding to. Like if it's obsessive, you know,
Right.
in a way. Yeah, certainly. It could certainly be a sign. And then also you have the concept of if your spouse is hiding their social media activity, like you're saying, if they're like on their phone and they don't want you to see what they're doing, or they're quick to get off their phone if something's going on, it could be a sign that, you know, they're dishonest about something. Maybe they are potentially thinking about reaching out to, you know,
Right.
somebody.
And one easy way to figure this out is to do the cell phone test. I know we've all seen this in social media. Just hand your wife your cell phone unlocked, vice versa, and see. And what that does is, to be honest with you, that builds trust, that builds honesty. You know, that shows a level of maturity and respect, and a high level of maturity as well, to let them know that you are not cheating or committing infidelity. There's nothing wrong with that. Eventually, you all going to be sharing a home. Eventually, you all are going to be sharing bank accounts and money. So,
Yeah.
you know, unlocking your cell phone with your spouse, especially if you are in a new relationship and you are not yet moved in, you know, you all have to you have to pass certain tests before you actually know that you can commit to somebody. And
Yeah.
that is one way to show this person that, hey, you know, I'm loyal. Here it is all day. You can see what I talk about and what I go through and who I speak to and how I talk to them.
Certainly if you're on that level. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But generally, I know I
With a
see somebody
comment.
said that, yeah, very irrational. I mean, that's true. It does seem quite, you know, more of a insecurity that the woman is going through, and she certainly
Right.
already admitted that. So that's certainly one thing to keep in mind. And again, ultimately, whether or not a man or woman's social media activity is something that you should worry about really just depends on the context of the relationship and the individual's intentions. And, you know, if you're feeling insecure about your boyfriend and his social media activity, to be honest, the best thing you can do is talk about it. So you got to have that conversation. And it may be a scary conversation to have, but you got to have it, because that's the only way that you're really going to be able to address this and not allow this to actually bring more problems into your relationship.
Right. And how you have this conversation is the most important part about it.
Yeah. So let's dig on into that, because I think that's important to note, because you're completely right. How do you have any conversation that, you know, maybe a little triggering? We always talk about that, but how to communicate this. Certainly you want to do it in a way that is respectful and calm. So then that way you're actually able to get across what you're going through, what you're feeling, and actually come to some sort of resolution within all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, what we always say is to choose the right time and place. We always start there because, you know, it may seem, you know, redundant to say this, but it's super important to do that, because sometimes when you're all upset about something or you notice something, it can be very tempting to bring it up right then and there. But, you really do want to avoid talking to your boyfriend, in particular, talking for this woman, or your girlfriend if you're going to have this conversation with her too.
Or husband or wife.
Yeah, or husband or wife, your spouse in general. You just want to avoid the conversation when they're tired or stressed or otherwise distracted. You just want to find a good time where you're actually both calm and able to sit down and have this conversation.
And start by expressing your love and appreciation for them.
Yeah.
So let them know that you are not trying to attack them, him or her interests, but that you are feeling insecure about something specific. Yeah. So avoid making accusations or blaming your spouse. And this will only put them on the defense. So making it less likely that they will open up or hear what you have to say. Also, too, if you are encountered with this type of situation, your spouse is trying to say, hey, honey, it's something that I'm insecure about. Don't shun them off or try to shut them down and say, hey, well, you need to go fix this on your own.
Yeah.
Just sit there and be a listening ear and let them know that, hey, I'm here for you. I support you. I love you. And I'm here to help you work through whatever situation you're trying to work through.
Yeah.
So whatever, questions you want to ask me, by all means, go ahead and we can work on this together.
Yeah, for sure. And then you want to be specific, right, about what is bothering you instead of, saying the general, I don't like the kind of women that you follow. You want to maybe even point out specific accounts. So if you are able to access this, you actually see these things, you see the posts that make you insecure, this is the opportunity to bring this to them as a way, not again to show up and be like, hey, look what you're doing here. This is making me insecure. Don't do it like that. Right. But more so that, you want to point out that this post in particular made you feel insecure and then why it made you feel insecure. That's certainly the main, purpose of bringing the actual accounts or the actual posts that made you feel that way, because then your spouse can get a general idea of what things make you feel insecure and then why. Yeah.
And I would say this honestly, and if you're that triggered, you just need to stop looking at what they're looking at.
That's maybe unfollow them,
right? Because the whole thing is this: if they are still coming home to you at night, you're taking care. They're still taking care of you. You all are supporting each other. That is the most important thing about it. Focus on your relationship. Like my wife said, stop comparing yourself to other people, especially on social media. A lot of that social media stuff is fake. So don't think that is something that you need to live up to.
Right.
So also to explain how their actions are making you feel. So be honest about their social media account, their behavior, and to ask, and be honest about how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
So for example, you could say something like, when you like photos of women in skimpy bikinis or clothing, it makes me feel like you are comparing me to them and that I'm not good enough. Fellas, understand that women will do this. And it is a level of insecurity. Guys, we don't care. Like, you can look at a buff man all you want or whatever. Hey, yeah, this guy's buff. We will be honest with you. Like, he has a lot of muscles. And I don't. So what? But for women, they kind of take that to heart. That's the feminist, right? That's the femininity in women that does that. They become insecure, and you have to reassure them that, hey, I am not communicating with this woman at all. You want to focus on your own feelings and needs. So the woman who's feeling insecure, she needs to focus on those feelings and her needs, and instead of telling your boyfriend what he should do, talk about how his actions are making you feel and what you need from him. So understand that, and fellas, listen to them as well, and see if you all can compromise about the situation. But I always say, stop looking at what your spouse is looking at that's triggering you.
Yeah.
Quit doing that.
Got to be responsible.
Because what you're doing is that you're creating conflict in your relationship when there is none.
Yeah.
If the relationship otherwise is good, don't rock that boat. Let's just keep it smooth sailing.
Yeah, think of it like a movie, or it's kind of,
Right.
you wouldn't get, insecure about something if you're watching a movie and somebody just so happens to come up naked on the screen of the movie. You wouldn't get insecure about that, or hopefully you shouldn't. But, again, if that's something that you are getting insecure about, it's more so something that you have to focus on within yourself and address within yourself, and not, direct that so much on trying to tell your man or your woman what to do per se, because like you said, that's just going to create more problems.
Yeah, it creates a lot of friction in the relationship, and it makes it seem as if they don't have their own identity in the relationship.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like, oh, I can't do certain things because it makes it seem as if, like I said, they don't have their own identity in the relationship. They can't like certain things. They can't be themselves.
Yeah, that's they got to walk on eggshells. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
It increases anxiety in the relationship. And like I said, otherwise there is no problem in the relationship.
Yeah, that's true. And you certainly have to be open to hearing your boyfriend or girlfriend's perspective. So it is completely possible, like we said previously, that your boyfriend may be completely unaware of what's going on, and he's not even thinking of it like that, to be honest. Like, it could just be something that he's doing. So allow yourself to hear what he's saying, to hear his perspective, and make sure that, if he does have those valid reasons, that you're taking them into consideration.
Right. I just wanted to share this too, because I have friends on social media that like images and pictures that just pop up. So like, Instagram, you just scroll through and all of a sudden you see you see a full figured woman wearing a bikini. And then all of a sudden I see that now that you can see that friends like this. And, a lot of those guys that like this are married. And I'm like, wow, in the back of my mind, I do say, like, what would their wife say? But these people are still married. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're not, you don't have to let social media take away from your relationship.
Right.
You don't. When they're, like I said, when there otherwise is no issues or problems in a relationship, ignore it. Don't even pay attention to it. Social media, leave it there. Leave it on the screen. Leave it on the internet.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. Don't take it home with you.
Right. Right.
So where are we at? Also, work together to find a solution. I like this. So once you have both shared your perspectives, it is time to work together to find a solution. This may involve your boyfriend. So this female's boyfriend agreeing to be more mindful of their actions, and be more mindful of their accounts that he follow and posts that he likes. It may also involve you working on your own insecurities as well. I think that's a great compromise. He just needs to stop liking pictures, and she just needs to work on her insecurities.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to say, like, just completely, stop doing that, because like you said, you don't want to take away a person being able to do what they want to do. It is just social media, but the compromise.
That's the compromise. So if she's coming across and say, this is triggering me, then it's right. If he loves her enough, then he'll say, well, I would just not like these pictures, and then you will never ever know what I look at.
Right.
Or like on social media.
Right, because he's not stopping for him from looking at it per se. It's just not letting her be so much aware of, hey, I'm doing that.
Right, no harm, no foul.
Right, and again, though, you could just simply unfollow him, and then that way you don't see what he's doing anyway.
Right.
It's just like that aspect of social media being a way to spy on your spouse. And if it's your responsibility,
doing that, then you have other insecurities.
Yeah.
If you're just spying on your spouse that you live with, and you take hours out your day just to do that, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not your spouse. Your problem is deeply rooted in some sort of trauma, whether that's neglect or whatever the case may be. And that's something that you really need to work on. Yeah. But I saw a statistic that said that, I digress a little bit, but a stat that said that a lot of happy couples do not have a lot of pictures of each other on their own social media accounts. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. So you don't see every damn picture with each other in the account. And I thought that was very interesting. So identity. Still, even though you're in a relationship, you still want your own identity.
Yeah.
Not meaning that, you're single. You're still in a committed relationship, but there are still hobbies and interests that you like on your own.
Right.
So I digressed. Back on topic. So be willing to compromise. So it is unlikely that you will get everything you want. So be prepared to meet your spouse halfway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and remember, your relationship is unique and special. So don't compare it.
Yeah.
So don't let comparison steal your joy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. And particularly, you just have to talk about it. That's pretty much the way to go about talking about it when it comes to, you feeling insecure. Again, we had a video on insecurity in relationships. That's certainly one I recommend for you to check out. So then that way you're able to take responsibility for your own feelings and your own emotions.
Accountability. We
Yeah.
talked about accountability last night.
Yeah. And be okay with, hey, I'm having some things going on. So maybe I need to scale back and figure out, why I'm feeling this way. If it's the lady mentioned that, oh, none of the women look like her. Maybe,
Right.
I don't know, maybe there's some goals that you need to set for your own self so that you can, I don't know, get yourself the way you want to be. Or even just simply remember that maybe he loves you for you and he likes you and you're different and that's why he chose to be with you. That doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to be with every Instagram model he sees or whatever,
Right, exactly. And and also too, accountability. Like we're talking about accountability. This female, in this perspective, in this situation, she needs to take accountability for her insecurity.
Yeah.
And like I said before, had her boyfriend not even been there, she still have insecurity issues.
Yeah.
That she needs to iron out. She needs to figure out why she has these issues, and then also too, she needs to get counseled or counseling on how to cope and heal her trauma that drove her to having insecurities.
Yeah.
Because what it comes off is that she's not enough.
Right.
That's what she's thinking to herself. Oh, I'm not enough.
Yeah.
That no one ever said that to you, sweetheart. Like,
right.
No one ever said that to you. So why do you think that way?
Yeah.
And I get it. Because your husband is your boyfriend is liking all these pictures of someone that he does not even know. That's far away somewhere and doesn't share a time of day with.
Yeah.
So why are you insecure when you have more access to this man than those pictures and those women in those pictures wherever?
Yeah.
And the more than likely, to be honest with you, they probably wouldn't give him the time of day to make you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Also, to remember, social media is a curated representation of reality. So people really just tend to post the best and the most flattering aspects, of themselves, like in their lives on social media. So it's really easy to get the impression that maybe, everyone else's relationship is perfect and all this other stuff. But the reality is every relationship has its own difficulties. It has its own struggles, its own challenges. No relationship is perfect. So get that, you got to get that thought out of your head. It's really kind of like your mind playing tricks on you at that point, because you go down one negative rabbit hole, you're going to keep going and get more and more thoughts that are going to make you feel like, oh man, my relationship is not equaling up to what I see on social media. So don't do that. Again, you're stealing the joy of what your relationship really could be. And then also too, if you're constantly seeing images of like these perfect couples, or she mentions like the trips and the gifts and all this other stuff, it's easy to think that that is what your relationship should be like. You are not in the same position as everybody else. So you certainly don't want to have these unrealistic expectations for what your relationship should be, what's going on, because all you're going to do is, again, lead to more disappointment and frustration in your relationship. That's no fun. That's going to start drama and make yourself feel bad and all this other stuff. So certainly make sure that you're realizing that social media is not real. It really isn't. It's the highlight. Think of it like the movie. It's the best clips. On a movie, they want to get the best clips.
The trailer.
TV, they want to get the best of everything. Think of it like that and try to adjust your perspective. So then that way you're not just drowning yourself in the negative thoughts that could really lead to you focusing on your own shortcomings or your own, feelings of not being good enough and contribute to low self-esteem and relationship problems. So, yeah.
So although social media can be a great way to stay connected with friends and family, if you find it starting to make you feel bad, you have to be proactive and take responsibility for how you feel.
Yeah.
So here are some things to keep in mind that can help save your relationship from social media. So it's like social media depression.
Yeah.
So number one, be mindful of how much time you spend on social media. So
Yeah.
if you find yourself spending hours and hours on social media scrolling through your feed and feeling worse about yourself, it's time to just quit it.
Yeah, get
I
off.
don't even want to say cut back. You just need to cut it off. This,
Get off.
how we call it, uninstall the app on your phone. Really, because these
Yeah.
type of things should not be trying. Should not allow these things to affect you and your mood. You shouldn't
Yeah.
be mood swinging because of social media and feeling bad because you're not eating a, I don't know, a Chicago dip sandwich and someone else is
Yeah.
right now. So you know, and also too, that's another sign that you have something that you need to fix, also as well. So get help with that.
Yeah, and you know what though? This isn't, you're not alone. I do want to make mention of that you're not the only one feeling like this. You're not alone in
No,
this.
not at all.
And in particular, there's a lot of statistics. I don't even know how old this woman is, but there is a lot of statistics about how, in particular, like Gen Z are struggling with
I'm
their
glad you
sense
point
of
that out.
identity, yeah, their self-esteem because of social media. Spending all this time on social media looking at all these unrealistic images, everything is filtered this and, just fake this. And it's just like, wow, it can really lower your self esteem.
There is a lawsuit out right now against Meta, because of Instagram,
Really?
and uh, the claim is that children are getting addicted to social media and becoming more and more depressed
Yeah.
because of social media.
Yeah.
So they're trying to sue them. I don't know what the outcome of that is going to be and the responsibility and accountability for Meta, but this is something that there, people are addressing this.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
real life thing.
it
Like, and
is addiction to social media.
it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because it takes you out of the reality of what real life is, and the reality of seeing, this stuff is not real. I can't compare myself, my real life, to that, especially if I know for sure that this is not real. And I feel bad. I was having a conversation over this weekend with another mom about like young girls. They're young girls, middle school, wearing waist trainers and all this other stuff because they're trying to live up to these images that are not even real, of women that just look, just
Perfect, right?
yeah, perfect.
And a
And
lot of
it's
it's Photoshop
unrealistic. Yeah.
and plastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
it's sad.
even I found out too that even women who have plastic surgery still have Photoshop pictures. So if you want to talk about fake, that's like fake on top of fake. So
Yeah.
it's not real, y'all.
Yeah. Cut back, spend your time building yourself up, working on your own self esteem. To be honest,
Just love yourself.
yeah, love yourself. And you know what? To be honest, I'm gonna have an honest moment here. Before we started all of this, and I would see social media, and I was thinking about how we can go into, we was planning, figuring out how we can go into this, and I thought about my image and how I wanted to represent myself. I chose for sure to make sure I was not gonna do. I don't even wear makeup on a regular anyway, but I was not gonna get dolled up all the time. I'm not gonna wear all these eyelashes and all this extra stuff, nails. I'm not doing all of that. Because to be honest, I want to connect with women on the realness. I want you to see me. This is the real me. I'm not, ashamed of me. I love me. And I'm okay with putting me out here. And to be honest, that is what I want to be able, especially these young girls, to connect with that, to show you like, this is the real, and the realness. Women and men can love that about themselves, and they should love that about themselves and not feel so insecure like you need all this stuff in order to present yourself. Like, God already did his thing on you. Like, be okay with that and find peace and love in that. Like, you're beautiful just the way you are. And this is a sad thing going on with social media, but anyways, kind of digressed off a topic. But talk to your spouse. That's the next thing about all of this. Be sure to talk to your spouse. Set your whole social media boundaries if you need them. This would include things like what you're willing to share on social media about each other, how much time you may be spending on social media with each other if you guys are, going to be together, making sure, to figure out, hey, we're not going to spend so much time looking at social media and stuff when we're together. We're going to take that time and we're going to spend time with each other. Of course, being comfortable about what you want to share. So don't don't share anything that could be embarrassing or hurtful to your spouse. being able to set up those boundaries about, how you want to represent yourself in your relationship. That's always something to be mindful of, because if you are in a relationship, you want to make each other feel comfortable and loved, and not, embarrassed or hurt by anything that you put on social media. So also, really be transparent with each other about this activity. Don't try to hide anything, any posts, any messages, or, who you're following and all that other stuff. That really should not be something that you're hiding, because then it means you got something to hide. It's not that big of a deal. Like, be okay with being open and honest about this. This will help to build that level of trust. And in fact, if you can get to the point where you're able to talk about things and not have to hide it so much, you can point out like, oh, this person's attractive or that person's attractive, and have those conversations in a lighthearted way. It can really help your spouse know that, hey, this isn't nothing personal. I ain't over here, fantasizing or nothing. It's just a normal, natural thing to have, see something beautiful and just say what it is and move on about your day.
Yeah, man. Don't compare your relationship to others. Again, don't compare your relationship to others on social media. Remember that people only post the best of their lives on social media. So it's not fair to compare.
Yeah.
So say that with us. It's not fair to compare. So focus on building a strong and healthy relationship with your spouse. Appreciate your spouse for who they are and what they do for you and how they bring joy to your life and all that great jazz.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling your relationship isn't progressing as quickly as other relationships on social media, it's time for you to talk to your spouse about your expectations and goals for your relationship.
Yeah. And she mentioned that what she doesn't
The
feel like the
milestones.
milestones. Yeah, she's hitting her milestones.
Yeah, so that
whatever,
they can tell you to stop getting on social media and focus on the real and not the fake.
Or so that you can fine tune the goals that you all need to be focusing on for yourself instead. So if you know that you want to be married, y'all been together for 3 years. We always talk about these long-term relationships. What are your goals? What are your expectations? How long y'all plan on doing this? When y'all plan on putting some stability and figuring out what y'all doing and all that other good stuff.
When you're ready to sign that prenup.
Right, have that.
That's probably what he's waiting for you to sign that prenup that he gave you 5 nights ago.
Great, you that's it. Woo! That's one of them jumps, but that's funny. No, we kid. But yeah, seriously, have your expectations. Figure out what your goals are, what your milestones are. If you're wanting to be married, talk about what's preventing that. What's going on? What are the things y'all need to do? If you want to move in together, if y'all looking to, buy a house, I don't know,
how many kids?
Yeah, all that.
If you want to go on that trip, talk about how you're going to save money for that trip.
Exactly. Set goals for that. If you want to, you talk about.
But you need
to
be talking about retirement instead of taking so many trips.
Yeah. I mean, that's, to be honest, utilize this opportunity as a time, to fine tune and figure out what it is you want to do.
I would tell her to figure out first. Let's find something to invest in and use that money to go on a trip.
Yeah. I mean, your focus is
in the wrong damn place,
not where it needs to be. Certainly. So be sure to have that conversation, and of course, for you in general, if you're feeling insecure, make sure you're unfollowing those people or those relationships that you're comparing yourself to, not just your boyfriend or whatever, but
get the hell off of social media.
Yeah, like if you see maybe your friends are progressing their relationships or triggering you or whatever, it's okay to unfollow people if they're triggering you. If it's making you insecure or making you jealous, those high profile couples that you follow and you're wanting the same gifts that this man is over here buying his woman or whatever, unfollow them. If you know that that's not something realistically where you and your spouse are at, don't put yourself in the position to where you're making yourself insecure. You have all the control over who you see and on your social media and who you don't see. So set up your social media in a way where you're inspired. Follow couples that inspire you. Follow, like us. Good job. Follow other things or people that aren't trying to, just show so much of the greatness, but also that can help you to grow in your relationship. So that way you're not, so much insecure or jealous, Yeah.
Don't let social media interfere with your real life relationship.
Yeah.
So make sure you're spending quality time with your spouse offline and that you're not consistently checking your cell phone
Yeah.
or social media accounts when you're together. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a time to spend together.
Yeah.
Also, to take a break from social media. This can help you to reconnect with each other and focus on your relationship.
Yeah.
So don't use social media to stalk your spouse or your exes. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a recipe for disaster, because what happens is
Mm-hmm.
that y'all gonna get caught up in the search history and be like, oh, so you trying to reach out to your spouse? This relationship is over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you have another problem on your hands. And you look
Yeah.
very guilty then. So don't do anything like that. This is free game, fellas. Don't do stuff like that. It's stupid. Number 8, seek professional help if needed. If you
Yeah.
can't, if you're struggling to not do any of this stuff, then you got a problem. So you need help. So if you seek help if needed. So if you're struggling to manage your social media life um, use, or if it's causing problems in your relationship, talk to a therapist, a counselor, or you can schedule a consultation with us at www.wifeconomics.com/schedule a consultation.
Yeah.
We will be more than glad to give you some very beneficial advice and also to information beyond just social media if you have time.
Yeah, maybe
So
some specifics on what you could do. And because, we can't really, it's kind of hard to get 100% personal when we don't know completely what's going
specifically
on.
what's
Yeah,
going on with you.
specifically.
And
Yeah.
honestly,
Mm-hmm.
you have to tell us the truth about your situations. If we ask questions, then please answer honestly to the questions that we're asking you, so that we can better provide you with a blueprint on how to move forward.
Yeah. Don't
You know,
let so much social media ruin your mood, your relationship, and all of that good stuff is not that deep.
it ain't social media. Don't let you
Yeah.
ruin your
Good
relationship
point. Yeah.
because of your insecurities and the lack of accountability that you are um, doing, because you're providing a lack of accountability on yourself, because you don't want to be responsible for your own actions of being feeling some type of way over likes and pictures when you have a real spouse by your side.
Yeah. And remember, like we were talking about yesterday, when it comes to accountability, sometimes this can be based off of fears. So maybe you're fearful of the conflict that this may cause by just bringing this up or having the conversation about what's going on. Be sure to have this conversation. If you're scared,
Right.
figure out how to detach from that fear, figure out where the root cause of that fear is coming from, what is triggering all of that. So then that way you're able to move forward in your relationship. Relationships will do this.
Right.
They will bring it up out of you. If you got some type of insecurity, a relationship gonna show you. If you got something going on, some trauma that you haven't healed, a relationship is going to
Right.
show you. You just got to be okay with, if this is what you want to do. If you want to be in a relationship, you have got to be okay with just, taking it and, realizing what's going on, what's the real issue. So then that way you can work on your relationship and work on yourself and become a better person. Ultimately, if you do the work.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not the social media likes that you have to worry about in those women. You have to worry about the work wife.
Do you?
She-
Now, what do we say? I said, that's a friend. That's a work friend. What is a work wife? That's a friend.
Mhm.
No, you shouldn't really be. A lot of that is being able to address insecurities and within yourself. And then in general, if there are some issues that you're having with your relationship, set up those boundaries, right? Being able to know, hey, this is the things that we said we are or are not going to do in all aspects of your relationships. And then that way you both feel comfortable. You really want each spouse to feel comfortable in what you're doing and being together, and just know that you can build this trust when you're together, and know that your spouse loves you and they have your best interest in heart. So yeah, 3 years, ma'am, you got some conversation to have. It's I always think about that when we hear these long term relationships, and then we get questions like this, like where it's like, wow, you just really need to have a conversation. It really, to me, points out that there is some underlying things that
Mhm.
need to be
Yeah,
addressed.
it's beyond that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
beyond
it's
that.
not just social media. Somewhere along the line, one of y'all are afraid of having some type of conversation. Maybe you guys aren't
It's
as
her.
open, as honest as you should be. Who knows?
And And,
Yeah.
and what I noticed too was that she started talking about milestones and taking trips. Like, you're obviously so jealous, and she has a social media problem. It's a lot of it is her.
Well, comparison, that's why we said comparison is the thief of joy, because even if you didn't have social media, you wouldn't have anything to compare yourself with. You wouldn't be over here checking out your friend going on her vacation in Jamaica or whatever, and that's making you think, oh, I'm not there yet, or whatever the case may be. So it's just really being okay with knowing that you don't have to compare yourself to anybody. You certainly shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. Every relationship is unique, and yours is unique and special. Be grateful, be appreciative, especially because you haven't said anything about the guy doing anything necessarily wrong other than liking photos or anything. You haven't said he don't treat you right. You haven't said he doesn't, he's
Provide
giving
and
you,
protect.
yeah, he's not giving you any other reason to feel like there's something wrong. So it just really just shows you kind of, creating problems where there isn't any. And you don't really want to do that within your relationship. Be appreciative of each other, love each other, and support each other.
Yeah. So with that being said, Blueprint family, are there any more additional comments, any questions, any topics that you would like for us to discuss here?
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us again on another great topic for tonight. We got another question to dig on into for tomorrow. So thank you all for joining us for sure.
Yeah. So with that being said, Blueprint family, thank you all. And we will see you again tomorrow night, same time, same place. You all have a